Well, having NI and FE as your two main functions is kind of a recipe for tension and feeling like you're pulled in two different directions. And I think I sincerely have come to believe that one of the reasons for this is that NI is one of the very most individualistic functions, one of the very most idiosyncratically personal and subjective functions. Whereas FE is the social function par excellence, right? It's the function that connects you to the external reality via social interactions and the dynamism of those interactions. So FE has an intrinsic tendency to, if you like, hack away at the individuality of the personality, and it tends to dissolve the subjective individuality into a sense of the universal. Whereas NI tends to sort of keep away from that, fence that off in order to maintain the uniqueness of its vision as informed by the archetypes. So when you function with, those two functions as your dominant and your auxiliary, you're going to experience some serious tension. It is what I call severance at an existential level in my new book, The Infinite Soul. It's interesting because when you compare that combination with two other possible combinations, you notice a difference. First of all, actually, in fact, with three other possible combinations. First of all, you can compare it with the combination between introverted judgment and extroverted perception. So, for example, an ENTP or an INFP, ENTP is NETI, INFP is FINE. So there's many combinations like these between an introverted judgment function and an extrovert perception function. That's usually, if those are in your two main slots, you're a P-type, right? Notice something is that an introverted function is by definition going to be more individual and more subjective. But when you have an introverted judgment function in your dominant, for example, but your auxiliary function is extrovert perception, extrovert perception functions, whether they are SE or NE functions, they're actually not social functions. They're functions that carry the task of gathering information in external reality. They are functions of engagement with events and external data points, but they're not by themselves social functions. In the process of engaging with external reality, searching for stimulation and new information to process, you do end up kind of in social context, but the primarily role of the function, of those two functions anyway, is not social. So the conflict between introverted judgment and extrovert perception is not that marked. The complementarity, I think, is an easier one to manage than the complementarity between NI and FE. The second comparison is obviously between NI and T, and again, T is not a social function. It is a function of interacting and shaping the external world. There's a proactive dimension to it as opposed to extrovert perception, but it's not social as such. So again, the contrast is less pronounced. And then we might consider the example of ENFJs, because it does seem like ENFJs find it easier to function in the world than INFJs. So why is that the case? I think that's because the dominant is FE. And when the dominant, your dominant function can sort of be like a function that you just focus on. This is your comfort zone. But then if you do that, and that's relatively easy, it's path of least resistance, the question becomes, is that function adapted to, you're getting along in external reality and making ends meet, being a functional person in the world today. And it seems obvious to me that if you're very much an FE focused person, you can function in the world today. If you're very much a T focused person, you can function in the world today. If you're principally an NI focused person, it's not clear at all. You need the help of extroverted feeling, more so in a way than extroverted feeling needs the help of introverted intuition in the case of ENFJs. I think that is one of the reasons that ENFJs are more adapted to external reality than INFJs, is the reverse order ends up making a huge amount of difference. And so NI plus FE together experience of distance, experience of severance, and probably some of the highest challenges that you could possibly expect for a type. Anyway, let me know if you agree with me in the comments. Don't forget, I've written those 2 books on the INFJ, The Ecstatic Soul, Analysis of INFJ Consciousness and its Existential Manifestations, The Infinite Soul, which is a look at INFJ life in the modern world. It's a new book. It's fresh out of the oven, getting good reviews. If you have already got the book and are loving it, please drop a review on Amazon, helps with the referencing. Don't forget that Patreon and donations in general are the lifeblood of my channel. I would be so grateful if you consider donating to my channel to keep it going. You can interact with me there. You can suggest content. I need new ideas, guys. So please, if you have ideas, suggest them to me. And yeah, maybe give me a like, and I'll see you next time. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.